It was a war mostly fought on land. However, for the next 4 years, the Air Force Museum is playing host to a display sharing stories from World War I. Canterbury Stories provides an insight into the First World War through the personal stories of those who experienced it.
And recent surveys have shown that a lot of New Zealanders don't actually know a lot about the First World War, and even less about what their families did in the First World War. So what we're trying to do is really to get people to think about what their families did and look at it from their own personal perspective.
These stories are not only from the soldiers and nurses on the front line, but also the men, women and children who remained at home. Some of the region's most well-known families are sharing their personal stories from the Great War. All Black Captain Richie McCaw's great-grandfather features. Alexandra Cartwright McCaw served in the Territorial Force and enlisted as a volunteer in October 1915. He fought on the Western Front, experiencing enemy shelling, raids and gas attacks. At one point he was under heavy machine gun fire and was hit multiple times, receiving severe bullet wounds to his head, neck, arms and foot. He survived and returned to New Zealand. Meanwhile, the Wizard of New Zealand's mother Gladys was 10 years old when war broke out. She saw a German Zeppelin airship as it passed over her English town. Simon Moody says it's stories from immigrants like the Wizard that makes this exhibition so interesting.
They have really interesting stories that place what happened here and in New Zealand in the context of the wider world.
Over time, the exhibition will change and grow as more stories are shared.
One of the ideas behind the exhibition is that it will change as people come to us with their stories. So we've actually set up a website for them to share their stories on.
This researcher believes the war is still very relevant today.
You go around New Zealand and every small town will have a war memorial. And I think that really does resonate, that these young men and women went across to the other side of the world in many cases and actually sacrificed their lives for New Zealand and to make New Zealand the country that it is today.
A free event at the museum on the 12th of October will allow Cantabrians to share stories about their First World War ancestors. The display will wrap up when the anniversary of the Great War ending is commemorated in 2018. Marcus Gibbs, CTV News.